Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and let's get straight into the meat and potatoes, man. So as you guys can see, I'm going to be sharing my journey, who I am, what do I do, why do I do what I do, just to give you guys a little bit more of detail, because I get a lot of DMs where people are like, what do you do for a living? Or how exactly did you make your money? Right? Like, where did you make your money? How did you do it? Like, where'd you start? And I'm going to get deep into that. But just to give you guys an introduction into me, my name is Jimenez. I've been in the solar industry for I would say around 2 years now. 2 years now, probably a little bit less. And I've done over 1 million and counting, 1 million plus in sales when it comes down to solar. I love solar. I think it's one of the best industries that you could get into to make a lot of money and help a lot of people, which I think that those are the biggest things that I want to do, is that I want to help people and be able to create opportunities to people, for people, and teach people actual implementable steps for them to get better and make their life a kick-ass life. That's why I made this channel. It's just to share my journey, inspire people as I'm growing. I'm not the richest person, man. I'm not a fucking millionaire or whatever the case may be. Not yet. But I wanted to make this channel just to be able to show people that are my color, people that are minorities, people that are Black, Indian, Asian, Hispanics, Honduran, Brazilians, whatever, Latinos in general, just Blacks, Hispanics, any minority, that it is possible, that my dumbass could do it without a college degree, being told that I wasn't going to be nothing in high school, being told that I would never live in the place that I'm going to live in, being told that, hey, you need to stop dreaming and plant your feet on the earth, certain stuff like that. I've been called it all, and I've developed a very thick skin when it comes down to it. But I've realized that I didn't give you guys enough clarity on what I did. So there was no context to me. And I would always get message, and I still get message to this day. What do I do for a living? And how I did it. How did I start? Where did I even look? How did I achieve such good financial success in fast? And honestly, I think that I could have done it a lot faster with knowing the knowledge that I know right now. But yeah, man. So a lot of people would say that I did it pretty quick. I accomplished my first 6 figures. So I was already making 6-figure pay by the time 6 months came into the solar industry. So at the 6 months, I was already making 6-figure pay. And then I ended up continuing into where I am today, right? So how did I get into solar? I want to be able to break that down. So I ended up, the journey started when I was in high school. So obviously I had turned 18. I have a late birthday, so I graduated late technically. I didn't flunk a grade or anything like that, but I just have a late birthday. I was born in December, right? So right before the cutoff, I had to stay the grade. You know how that works if you have a late birthday. But point is, I ended up graduating high school. My senior year, I did really good on my grades. Sophomore, junior year, freshman year, I ended up getting really bad grades, had to go to continuation school. I was just really bad at school. A lot of people, let's just say I wasn't the most likely to succeed award. I wasn't getting that, So just to give you guys a little bit of context, I ended up growing with my brother, and my brother ended up going to college, right? And he ended up taking the college route. So there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure in my family, and I come from a Mexican family, full-blown Mexican, traditional, old-fashioned family. So the dream that they were sold ever since they came over here was, hey, you know what? You need to go to school. You need to go to, and then after you go to school, you're gonna go get a job, and then you're gonna get a house, and then you're gonna get married, right? So they just got sold the American dream. But the thing is that I didn't want the American dream. I wanted to be really wealthy. Ever since I was very, very little, I was always I was always telling people, hey, I want to be rich. Hey, I want to be rich. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. And I'm going to have a lot of money. And I'm going to help a lot of people. And people would tell me, and my very own family would tell me, hey, you know what? You need to stop dreaming. That's really good that you have those aspirations. But at the same time, people like us don't make it out. I'm like, dude, like, what the hell you mean we don't make it out, bro? Like, I'm gonna make this happen. I always had that conviction that I would be able to get the job done. But the biggest thing is that we didn't have a support system to be able to have someone there. I didn't have a digital mentor, or I didn't have anyone telling me or rooting me on in my corner. So as soon as I ended up graduating, what ended up happening is that I wish that I could say, I figured out life right after that, right? But I ended up going to college, right? I went to community college. I went to COC in Santa Clarita, and I ended up going, and I'm paying for my college at this point. I'm paying for my college because I had a couple side jobs that I was doing on the side, like doing paper routes, doing stuff that I was doing on the side. I would go to physical houses and I would ask them for any old objects that they had or old items that they wanted to get rid of, and I would sell them. They would give me items that they didn't want no more, and they've been meaning to junk, but they haven't junked them. And I would just literally go to their house, pick up all the items, and then I'd put them up on OfferUp. And then I would make money off of that. And that's how I ended up paying for my first batch of classes in college. So I ended up taking like 3-4 classes. Excuse me. So what ended up happening after that is that I ended up going into class. I was just sleeping all the time. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And the first time that I actually I decided, hey, okay, I'm going to listen up to the class. He just starts teaching us, or she starts teaching us. And this is an all-girl class. It's really weird. So we end up in an all-girl class. Like, it's an all-girl math class. It was intro to math, or intro to like basic math and whatever. And we ended up, I ended up getting to the topic with the teacher. I'm like, how much do you make for a living? Like, how much do you make off of this job? And I believe he, or no, this was a she, yeah. So she ended up telling me she made like 50-60 grand, and I was like, dude, I want to make 6 figures. I wanted to figure out how to make 6 figures, and I just logically in my head, I did the math, and I was like, how is this person going to teach me how to make 6 figures if they make 60 grand a year? So it just doesn't make sense to be listening to people that don't have what I want, right? And a lot of people would have been like, damn, you're crazy for even doing that, but I did it with the most respect. I just wanted to figure out how to get there. I already knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't have the sense of how to do it yet. I didn't have, the drive to do it. I knew what I wanted, but hey, I wasn't doing the actions to get there, right? So I wish that I could say I left that class, and then as soon as I left that class, I started my entrepreneurial journey, and it became I was just driven, blah, 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 blah. And no, that didn't end up happening. And so what ended up happening is that I ended up being super, super depressed for like a year, almost a year. I think it was almost a year. So I was just recently 18 with probably 5 months in, because I have a late birthday. And then what ended up happening is that I ended up just getting into that big depression of mine, and just that big fog in my head where I just couldn't shake the feeling that I had to tell my parents, but I didn't have the courage to tell them because I was afraid that my parents were going to kick me out. So what ended up happening is that I would leave at 5 a.m. to get to my classes every single day. So I lied to them that I was still going to school, but instead of going to school, I would go to my local park and I would just fall asleep. I would fall asleep because I didn't want to think. I would sleep probably 13 hours. I would sleep a long time. I would sleep from 5 a.m., 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would sleep 12 hours in a day. Literally, I would just keep sleeping. My head would hurt from sleeping because you know how your head hurts, just like when you start sleeping too much, like your body's telling you need to stop sleeping and you need to get up. I would keep sleeping even if my head hurt because I didn't want to think. I didn't want to think about the situation because I was depressed. I was down and out. For those 8 to 9 months or a year, or approximately a year, I was just down and out. And one day, finally, I woke up and I was like, enough is enough. I need to find a job. I was like, okay, you're not going back to school. That's not the route. Okay, find a job. Because eventually you're going to have to tell your parents, or eventually your parents are not stupid and they're going to figure it out. And when they figure it out, they're going to kick you out of this house. And how are you going to be able to live? And I was like, okay, well, I have to find a job and I have to stack up bread. All this time, I have to stack up as much bread as possible. That's the way that I was thinking. I was like, I got to stack up as much bread to be able to, as soon as they find out or as soon as I'm ready to tell them, I'm able to leave. And just in case they wanted to kick me out after me lying to them, basically. And so what ended up happening is that I ended up going on this job site where they have job listings, which is called Indeed.com. And I just look up local job listings, right? And in the local job listing area, what ended up happening is that I just found a job that said solar qualifier, right? So what happened then is that I ended up seeing that it said 40 to 60 grand. And I was like, what? Like, I could make what a professor makes without a college degree. And I think he even said, don't quote me on this, but I believe that the job said no high school diploma too. I don't even know if that shit's legal, but yeah, like it was an opportunity. And I just recognized the opportunity. I didn't even know what a solar qualifier was. I didn't even know what solar was. I was that oblivious to the fact of what this job was. So I ended up showing up day one, dressed nice. I was wearing slacks and a nice shirt. And everyone was, the first thing that you go into this place, it smells like weed and it smells like vape smoke. I don't know if you guys know the vapes and stuff like that, but vape smoke has like this vomit smell. Like, it smells like fucking vomit because like, it's just nasty. I hate smoking and I hate the smell of smoke. Smell of smoke is just like the biggest pet peeve that I have, right? So, it's probably because also like I ended up growing up with smoker guys. That's why I say that. If you smoke cigars, you like smoking your stuff, whatever, like that's cool, bro. Like, I have nothing against it, but it's just the way I am, right? So after that, like I end up going to an office room. They end up breaking down the job to me. And basically what it is that we're going to be knocking doors for a living. I'm going to be knocking doors, going on the door saying, hey, how's it going? Do you want to buy some solar? Basically, that's the pitch, right? So they ended up giving me a pitch. They ended up telling me, hey, you have to go and learn this. Come back in 2-3 days. We're going to test you on it. And if you do good, you got the job, right? So what I ended up doing is that I'm going it over day in and day out, day in and day out. And then what happened is that I ended up going to the interview 2 to 3 days later. But I was putting in a lot of effort. I had no prior sales experience to this. I had little to none like prior experience in jobs before that. Like I had one when I was 16 and a half and I was working with my mom in a Carl's Jr. Like I didn't have no sales experience, man. I was stocking meat up. Like that's what I was doing, man. Like, I was doing hard labor. I wasn't doing nothing like with the finesse that you needed to have for sales. You needed to develop your pitch, develop your speaking skills. And I didn't have that yet. So I knew that I love people and I knew that I like to talk. But at the same time, just because you talk a lot doesn't mean you're saying a lot. It doesn't mean you're saying stuff that matters. So at the end of the day, I ended up going in the middle of the room and they all huddled against me, huddled around me. And I pitched, right? I ended up falling on my face, blah, 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 stuttering, mumbling, all the whole 9 yards. And I want you guys to know, if you're going to get into any job like this, it's gonna be like that in the beginning. It's gonna feel like you have no hope, but trust me, once you get good, you're going to be able to be kick-ass, and you're going to be the best top producer in your industry. You're going to be the best top producer in the solar industry, in your solar company, wherever you decide to go, real estate, sales, car sales, whatever it is. Just keep being consistent, and this is why. So what ended up happening is that everyone was making fun of me in that office. Everyone was like, this kid's not gonna last. This kid looks retarded, basically. This person, like, he just doesn't have it in him. He's gonna quit, and I didn't get it. I would say the first 2 months, I sucked. I completely sucked. I was so bad at what I was doing. Like, I would just pray every single day, though. I would pray to God. I'd be like, God, you know how much effort I'm putting in. You know how much hours I'm putting in. Like, a lot of people were like, damn, man, this kid is super persistent and super dedicated, because I was there since at 5 a.m. A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people just thought I was getting there an hour early, because we would start at 9 a.m., and we would leave to the doors at 10 a.m. because we had a meeting that was an hour meeting, 30 minutes sometimes. So what ended up happening is that I was still going to school. So I had to be tricking my parents and telling them, hey, I'm still going to school and I need to get going. So I would wake up at 5 a.m, act like I was going to school, but I would go to my job. And I would wait in the parking lot and I would go over my script. And I did that for a full-blown 2 months until I got good. And when I started, and this is where the journey starts, is that I started getting really good at my job. I started being the top producer there. I started making money. I started making really good money. So what ended up happening is that you could actually see, and I'm going to post some statements right here. Most likely, if I don't post them, it's probably because I couldn't find them. But you're going to have access to them on my Instagram. I'll post them. But they're going to be checks. And they're going to be checks from my first solar job. For you could see that I haven't been at this for a super long while. Like, I've been at it. I'm fairly new to the solar industry, but the success that I've had is through the dedication and the hard work that I put in. And that's why I've made the money that I've made, right? I'm not a millionaire. I'm far from it. But hey, I'll tell you guys one thing, is that the things that I prayed for a year and a half ago or a year ago, I could tell you guys, I got now. I got a penthouse. I got a nice penthouse. I have a nice apartment. I love where I live. I love that I have views. I love that I have my own car. I love that I have my own stuff. I have my own food. I have my own area, I have my own business. I have my own office. I have my own employees. I have people that love me, that surround me. This is all that I prayed for, guys. So I'll tell you guys that keep working. It does pay off. You just need to find the right people around you to be able to support your dream. In the beginning, it's only going to be one, though. It's only going to be you, right? So believe in yourself and make sure that you're putting in the work day in and day out, right? But to get back on track. So I ended up becoming very successful after 2 months. I went from collecting $500 paychecks a week to collecting $1,500 minimum, $1,200, $2,000, $2,500. I even made a couple statements that you're gonna see right here. If I get the opportunity to put it, I'll put it there, where I made $5,000 in 1 week. $5,000. Made $5,000 in 1 week, and I thought I was rich. I was like, damn, man, like, this is crazy, and I don't know why people aren't running at these doors. I don't know why these people were physically not running at these doors. I would literally get to my job as early as possible, and people would be like, no one's going to answer the doors at 8 a.m. No one's going to answer the doors because everyone's asleep. And I didn't give a fuck, man. I didn't care, guys. I believed so hard that my customer was out there. It didn't matter who it was. I was going to find them. I was going to find them. And I was going to do my job. And I could do this. And no one could stop me. That was my motivation. I was oblivious to the fact to even think of that. I didn't even think, oh wow, people aren't gonna answer. It's 9 a.m. I was just like, I have more time to knock doors. That's what I was thinking. They were thinking logical, man. I was thinking just pure grit, pure heart. I was going after it, right? And so after that, I ended up making my first six-figure, like I was already making six-figure pay by probably even sooner than 6 months. Probably I was already making six-figure pay, and six-figure pay means I was making a pay of $100,000. I was a six-figure earner by the time like my fourth, fifth month. I was already making the income to being a six-figure earner, right? $100,000, 100K plus earner, right? So after that, I ended up leaving the company and I ended up finding a better job where they doubled my income, right? And I doubled my income basically there. And then I did it way quicker there too. And then I ended up making my own solar company. And that's what Next Step Solar is. Next Step Solar is my company. I started it. So, and I'm the CEO and the executive officer when it comes down to Next Step Solar, right? So, and I'm proud. I'm proud of being able to be a company owner, and I'm proud to have my office. I'm proud to live where I live. And honestly, guys, dreams do come true. We just have to keep chasing. We have to be consistent. And the only reason I tell you this is not to brag. I'm not saying, dude, I'm the richest guy. Listen to me. Oh, Allah. No. Like, I'm just sharing this because you might be able to relate. You might be a little Latino kid, a little minority kid that might be able to relate. And if you can, man, you're not alone. I promise you, I'm there with you, man. I'm in the trenches with you. I'm still working. I'm still trying. I'm still fighting against my bad habits. I'm still doing the same thing. I eat, I breathe, I poop just like you, bro. I bleed. I get tired. I get frustrated. I get angry. But understand, everything gets better and you can do it. And you owe it to yourself to be great. So be great. And the reason why I wanted to share that story is just to give you guys a little bit of perspective of where my life was before. Go on my Instagram. You want to see what car I was sleeping in and how shitty it was and how bad it sounded? Go to my Instagram. Go to my Instagram. You could see it right then and there. You could see how it was rumbling. It was hanging on duct tape, bro. If you clearly look at that, it had duct tape on the front bumper and it has duct tape on the back bumper. And I would pray. Go look at my Instagram. I posted where I was going to live. I live in downtown LA. I live in front of the Staples Center, man. And I posted, if you go to one of my very first posts on my Instagram, I was saying, hashtag, this is going to be my future life. I took a picture of downtown. I think it was like a year ago, a year and a half ago, or 2 years, whatever it was. A year later, guess what ended up happening? I manifested it. So, just watch where I go from here. Just watch where I go from here, man. Damn, that's all I can say. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. If you guys found this video helpful, if you guys found it inspiring, thank you guys. I appreciate that. And yeah, man, there's not much I could say, man. Just keep going after what you want. Never stop dreaming. Never stop pushing. And I know I didn't go into too much of detail in my childhood. Maybe I might go over that in the future. Definitely. I'm going to go over that and tell you guys how I grew up. That's going to be a different video. But I just wanted to share who I am right now. Who am I? That's why I made this video. To share who I am and what do I do, you know? And ultimately, also, you guys have to know my intentions are very, very pure in the sense that I want to help people. I do. I want to help you. I believe in you, bro. I believe in you. Don't matter if this gets 2 to 3 views. As long as those 2, 3 people get motivated off of that. Get inspired by this. That's what I care about. A kid that's going to grow up and be like, damn, dude, you changed my fucking life. Pardon my language. It's just when I get excited, I get passionate. But I'm working on that too. So understand that, man. My biggest goal is to make 25 schools in Mexico, in the poorest areas of Mexico, to teach people life skills, entrepreneurial skills for them to be able to know how to survive in the real world and fend for themselves. No matter where they start, it doesn't matter. It matters where you finish. So if you guys found the video helpful, please hit that like down below. Hit that comment down below. Comment what was your favorite part of the story. I know it was a mouthful, man, but I know that this video is necessary. I'm not even going to edit it. I'm going to post as is. I don't care. No cuts, no nothing. I want it to be as raw and authentic as possible. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Thank you guys for showing me so much love and support in the video, in all my videos, man, as a matter of fact. And I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great day. And just remember, guys, you guys were born to win. You guys make the extraordinary look ordinary. Until next time, guys. I love you guys. Peace.